controls the spice, controls the universe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Reina Creole, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis. And welcome to my after-school special edition of Lorena's Lunch Table. This is when we bring in folks where if we can't meet them for lunch, you know what? We meet them after school. So let me bring up my co-host, Fat Steven. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. As you can see, I'm going a little different today, and the only costume I could find was a Funko Pop, so I'm Dragon Zord for the rest of the show.
Dragon
Happy
Sword.
Halloween. Yes.
Happy Halloween indeed. I like that. I don't have anything cool like that. I just have a vampire picture.
I was actually going to put my face on that too and just kind of creep you out today, but I like my job. I really like my job.
Well, I like this. I like this one here. I like this one. He's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So your Saturday going good?
Kind of. We've had some troubleshooting at home I've had to deal with. Someone was like having an echo problem. I think they were just hearing voices, but other than that, it was going pretty good. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. Yeah.
Yeah, voices in the head.
Pretty much telling me to shut up and things, I but
That's not very nice.
It's not, no, but it's better than burning things.
That's true.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I love fall. Not too happy that cold weather is coming, but I'm enjoying all the leaves changing. I love that. It's like my favorite time of year. I want to get like a big, huge pile of leaves together and jump in them. But like Linus said, don't jump into a pile of leaves with a wet sucker. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, well, I like doing the same thing. I get a big pile of leaves, but I usually cover a fire hydrant in it, and then I find the neighborhood kids. What happened to Timmy? Concussion. Mm-hmm. Happy fall.
But I love fall. I love fall. Fall is awesome. Definitely not looking forward to winter, but enjoying the fall while it lasts. And there's all kind of things that come with fall, like pumpkin spice, apple cider, horror movies.
Lots of explosions.
True. So speaking of, we're going to bring our guest on. I actually know him from a lot of chats. Haven't live streamed with them, but I've heard other people live stream with them, but either I'm not awake at that time, they miss it, but next best thing, we got him with us today. Hey, Trace XL, how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Managed to escape the asylum yet again, and I'm back at work.
You're good at doing that.
That is a wicked charcoal face mask. Does it really exfoliate the death and murder intent you usually get in the movie?
Oh, yeah, it gets the brain matter right off. I mean, it cleans you up perfectly. It's so great. I love it.
Wow.
So it must be the ShamWow variant.
Yeah, it's kind of a weekly thing. Yeah.
Like easy to clean and boom, on to the next kill, right?
There it is. That reminds me, I got to wheel the chainsaw later. I'll get to that.
I'm on break.
Well, dude, tell us, a little bit about yourself. I know I would run into you in the chats, most notably when I'm on Toxic Femme. And you have like some of the coolest super chats that would come in and regular chats and all of that. So tell us a little bit about yourself and about your channel.
Well, the channel I had for quite a long time, I just didn't actually do anything with it until I was hanging around with the likes of such people as Mary Mayhem and others. And we got to chatting and talking about different things, and it led to me being able to come on and talk to people and just getting into the flow of the different jokes and the stories we tell, and people just kept inviting me on for some reason. I think I'm growing on them like fungus.
Mary's cool. Mary's real cool. She's really good at picking out, people who are just like, you know what, they're good with this YouTube thing.
I like to think I do okay. I usually I'm the one that's usually lurking in the background, so it's not very often that I end up right there on the screen. So this is a bit different.
It's okay though. I lurk in the bushes.
Yeah,
Works
I
out.
know, right? Yeah, you do the long coat thing, or do you just kind of go with like more layers? Because I find that you do get the random stick. It's not fun.
I usually go the little Mickey routine, and I dress like
Yeah.
it depends on what's around. If there's no bush, I'm usually dressed as an owl in the tree, and if there is a bush, I dress up as a red panda. Just to give Lorena that face, because she's like, "Don't do it."
I don't want to picture the red panda anymore, but since you brought it up,
You want to go to the multiverse?
let's go to the multiverse. Let's talk about was it Magic Girl Squad? What the heck is that thing?
It's called Bad Writing Cartoon Show.
Well, that too. I guess it comes under many names. Super.
Yeah. It's bad when the cartoon president show that mocks Donald Trump is better than that.
That's
when you reach the low tier.
That is pretty sad.
Is that the show that's on Showtime?
I think so. It's the one where it's constantly like a mockery, but a very bad mockery because they can't meme.
No, they really can't.
They really can. I don't get it. It's like they don't. First of all, they're not funny.
No.
And I don't think they grasp exactly what humor is supposed to be.
Well, I kind of agree because they think smelling their own farts has a joke in there they can use again. It's pretty much hearing themselves talk, and no one is even listening to them when they are talking. So, that's bad. Oh, I didn't mean to depress anyone either because you guys both have that look of like, God, they're not funny. Oh my God.
Try not to laugh challenges are easy. When you have that stuff, just put on Amy Schumer, put that show on, put on a number of different things, and I promise you, I will not laugh one time.
No,
it won't happen.
I already got the image of them all naked and stuff, but that commercial, every time I see them doing a commercial now, I'm praying to God when I turn my head, they're not naked.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I'm totally naked. Why?
It's just
Stop it.
It's always the people you don't want to see naked who want to get naked.
Right?
No.
Right. Yeah.
I feel so sad for that bread panda. He's sitting there going, "Why am I here?" The other two girls look like I can't dress at all.
Okay, here's my thing. I'm surprised PETA hasn't gone after them for the torture they're doing to this poor panda.
Yeah, I mean, I got the impression that look on Panda's face is like they have no idea I crapped in their shoes. I wonder when they find out.
But
that would be funny.
But I wonder what the ratio is. How many fingers up the panda's butt compared to how many shoes it's crapping in?
I mean, that's Panda's
funny
business.
though.
I'd rather just let them have their own thing. No judgment,
Nah. But I think again, it goes back to because humor is not supposed to be safe. Everyone is supposed to be a target for humor. And it seems like to me, and Trace, you can expound on this, they have so many of these protected classes that it's like, oh, we can't do that joke, or no, we can't make a joke about that, or no, we can't make a joke about that. It's just like they're worried about who's going to be offended as opposed to making people laugh.
Yep. And the biggest thing they forget is that the reason so many people, the reason why Dennis Leary and George Carlin, Eddie Murphy, the reason why those guys are so funny is because they don't care what other people think. They're going to tell the joke. They are going to go there. And part of the reason you laugh is because they did. You didn't think they were going to do it, but they did. And you're dying of laughter because it's hilarious what they said. And it's relatable. That's the other important thing. It's relatable. It crosses the line, and they do not care what you think. Either laugh or don't. I don't care, but I'm going to tell you the joke.
No, did you see the routine Bill Burr did on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, there's another one right there.
I love Bill Burr.
And that's why I love it. He did it in this day and age when everybody's super sensitive. I bet he had people in the back just like, oh no, don't say that. Please don't say it. Oh, he didn't say it.
But he falls along the same line because even if you got like say Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, and the same what's his name, Godfrey, Gabriel Godfrey,
Gilbert Godfrey.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Gilbert Godfrey. I can't remember the first name. Like, if you ever watch their specials, like they have on YouTube, like Cooking with Bert Kreischer and stuff like that, or the Man Cave, they go all down there all the time. And you know what? It's what is necessary, because people seem to have lost the whole point of a joke. Whether it's over the line or not, it's supposed to make you laugh and realize that escapism can exist in just a sentence.
Yes.
And lately, everyone just wants to whine, and if you're always whining, you're never growing to understand how different perceptions and humor can make you a better person. Because the rule has always been, if you can't laugh at yourself, you'll never understand an actual joke.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we were raised off of sticks and stones can break our bones, but names can never hurt us, you know. And they were raised with, yes, they can. So, you know, here we are.
Yeah, it's that participation trophy. Even though we're making fun of everyone, they still think that making fun of everyone's not fair enough. I'm like, well, what do you want? You can't have it both ways.
They can't. And I remember when way back in the day when South Park first came out.
Oh boy, I remember the people outside the studio that were lobbying, like, you need to shut this down. This is terrible. And if I'm not mistaken, there was somebody that went outside and yelled at them with the Cartman voice until they went away.
That was probably Trey.
It actually wasn't him, but it was somebody who had his voice down pat, came out there, and he got on top of it and told them all to go away, you damn dirty hippie. Like, no, I mean, like, he went off on them and told them to go away with a megaphone. It was hilarious.
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's where they got that idea for the movie. Because he let him have it. He was tired of him.
Yeah, I remember the first episode. I always keep confusing the first episode with the chicken dude. Who's you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We call him the chicken lover.
No,
right.
No, we don't. That's not what the episode says. It's like special.
That's what one of them said.
That's the PG version.
Yeah. But I don't understand how people got offended on the first episode of South Park when it was literally about an anal probe.
Yeah.
And outer space aliens. And somehow people lost their minds. I'm like, you don't realize that aliens haven't proven to exist. And I don't think they're going to come down here because a satellite came out of a cartoon character's butt. Like,
exactly.
Relax. Yeah.
Like, come on.
We've got a lot of butt stuff today so far. You notice that? We got the red.
I know. I think between that and oh my gosh, the one with Santa.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness, that one. I think I was laughing so hard I kept missing dialogue, and I had to run it back.
For me, it was that motorcycle they had where you sat on it, and you know what I'm talking about, the circular cycle. It was oh god.
Oh yeah, I think I remember. Yeah.
Did I say that one?
I can't say it right. Let's just
say I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one. I just know the other one that was hysterical was the Thanksgiving one, kind of like Braveheart and with Starving Marvin.
Yeah. Oh man.
Or Sally Struthers as Jabba.
Yes.
Oh jeez. Yeah.
So, and I think the next cartoon, even though it didn't last as long, that pulled off the same type with a little bit more extreme, was probably Drawn Together. And Drawn Together, I still love to this day.
Drawn Together was something else.
Drawn Together was awesome. I loved that one.
The Jew producer.
Wow. I mean that I loved it. Mm-hmm. I did, because it was oh god, it was so anti-PC and just stuff that they would just say. Especially the wannabe Ariel character. Oh my god.
Oh god. Princess Clara.
Yeah, wasn't that one that got off on violence? Like she loved violent things happening. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was one where she was the one that was always making out with Foxy Love.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna teach you with my tongue.
It's just amazing how that shows like that were so funny, and even it seemed like the more they offended people, the more popular they got.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
Sorry,
go ahead, Trace. I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's what it was all about. And they pushed that limit. I mean, everything was doing that actually around the 90s. I mean, with wrestling, which I was watching at the time, they had the Attitude Era, and that's what they were doing then, was they were doing stuff that was over the top. You had girls almost nude in the ring. You had guys saying the craziest stuff, going off and doing whatever they wanted to, because why not? And everybody loved that because everyone was telling you, you shouldn't do that. Really? Snap pants, I'm doing it. Let's go. And people that had the guts to do it, they got all the love. Period. That's just how it was. And I think that generation, a lot of people got jealous of that because they don't have that kind of guts. They would never do that.
No.
And they don't like that you can, and you're getting all the credit, and I'm over here and I don't get anything. Change up your style. You don't have to be rowdy like that. You can do something else.
Yeah.
But they don't have anything else.
See, I kind of like the 90s when it came to like the over the edge humor, because it was like every time someone says you can't do that, it was like when your parents told you not to do that, you would do it anyways, because every time you're told not to do something, pretty much, you would push the limits. And that's what comedy, I think, peaked a lot, is because it was pushing the limits. It wasn't about participation trophies, crying over there. Who cares about Kibblesmith? Shut the hell up. We're having fun here. Go away.
No, like it's one of those reasons why the Chappelle Show was so freaking funny, and everybody's like, who would have thought you do a sketch of a blind black man who thinks he's a KKK member? Who would think of doing that? And it was so absurdly freaking funny. People were like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!
Why'd you break up with your wife? Because she was a lover."
Yeah.
It's
like they're in the car and he's telling them, "You N-word, shut up, that noise down." He's like, "Did you hear what he called me? Sweet."
And then what was the other classic one? The almost N-word family.
Oh,
that was one of the funniest skits. I was dying because I was like, he would never do this. Yeah, he did. Yes, he did.
He did. I mean, he people who would try to like shame him, he just took that and weaponized it / monetized it, because he was just like, some of you don't like what I say, so I figured maybe it would come better if a pretty white girl said it for me. And he had the routine where he was writing stuff down and she was saying it. And he was like, OJ didn't do it. She was singing it. And then he wrote something else down and passed it to her. He's like, on second thought, yeah, he did.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
Yeah. But it's like people think, too many people these days think that they have the right to not be offended.
Exactly. Yep, that's the biggest problem. Is they think that their feelings are sacrosanct. You're not allowed to say something that might make me feel uncomfortable, that might put me in a position where I'm like, and the thing of it is, your comfort is not my problem.
No,
they don't like that. They don't like hearing that, but that's the truth. And it cuts both ways. They could say something that I'd be like, man, that's messed up. But I have options. I can always leave. I don't have to stay there.
Yeah.
And listen to them talk like that. If I don't like what they're saying, I have free reign to be like, I'm out. Peace. Yeah. But they don't like that. They shouldn't. Here's the thing. The number one phrase that today's generation is learning is, I shouldn't have to do that. That's exactly why we're having these problems. Like, they want to ban people online for saying things. Why? Because they shouldn't have to read or listen to that. But and it's like, well, you just did. What are you going to do about it?
But that's the thing, though, right? It's kind of like a contradiction to them. They get offended at a joke that's online, but they're saying that the opposite, that is literally against kind of like human rights standards, like reminding someone that they're black, or they're fine with a race swap of historical figures, or trying to tear down history. But as soon as you say the bring up a Chappelle joke, all of a sudden all their soy just is everywhere, and it's all tears. Like you can't have it both ways. That's what bothers me the most. Like, if you get offended over a meme because you think it's trying to hurt your political choice, that's your insecurity. If you're offended because someone said no to you, guess what? Work harder till you get a yes. It's not a participation trophy society.
You said the W word. Never say work. They don't want to work.
No, because everything was
they
handed
shouldn't
to them.
have to do that.
What is work?
Work
They're
is
just
what
know
like,
made
that.
you a better person. Work was responsibility, making your parents proud, making yourself proud, working for that family, that car, that house. That's what work was. Even if
All
you
day.
had a disability or you had an issue, you worked through it and you didn't use it as a crutch.
well, the
Everything these
thing,
Yes.
people do is a goddamn crutch. And I'm effing sick of it.
it is because I
I'm with you.
remember back in the day,
Sorry.
it was considered a big deal if you were in high school and you had a part-time job.
Right?
It
Because you
was
was
like,
getting paid.
you got paid, even if you got clowned for working at McDonald's, because that seemed to be on the spectrum of what's going on. If you were at McDonald's, you got clowned the hardest, but you know what? You had a part-time job
Yep.
and you were making money,
Mhm.
whatever way. And that was something that, people held a pretty, high regard. Your parents are proud of you because it's like, shoot, I don't have to give you money for certain things. Or like me, I could say, hey, well, I'm making this amount of money. So if I want X, Y, and Z, if I come up with half of it, can you give me the other half? And they'd be like,
Yep.
yeah, okay. I
Yep.
see you're actually doing it. And sometimes you just get gifted with it because they saw
Sometimes.
how hard that you were working, to save up for that.
That was this guy. Yep.
And it's just like I don't understand why work has been demeaned into something, just like something that's dirty, like actually doing real work, real honest work, honest pay. I just don't understand that these days.
People are too sheltered. That's what it really comes down to. I
Mm,
think some people leaned way too hard because some people might have had a rough upbringing and they really did have to get in the dirt, work super hard, completely understandable. But then they went way too hard the other direction when they had kids and said, look, I don't want them to do what I did. I don't want them to have to go through that. So I'm just going to make sure they have everything that they ever wanted because that's what I wanted when I was little and I didn't get that. So I'm going to give them everything. Problem is, what you don't give them is that accountability and responsibility to make them understand how important it is. Like, I'm gonna give them a phone. Yeah, I'm gonna give them $1,000 worth of tech. What they do for it? Nothing really. But I'm gonna give it to them because I would have wanted that when I was little. Yeah, but then they go and break it in like 2 weeks. Because they don't understand what that means. That's $1,000 in your hand. That's money. Even now, that's money. But they're like, oh, Dad, I kind of messed up the iPhone screen. You've had that phone for hold on. You've had that phone for 10 hours. What are you doing? I don't know. I was sending an Instagram and it fell off the stairs.
It's like the learning the value.
Child.
Yeah, I know.
These are the kids that didn't grow up in the say like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where it taught lessons, where Will be like, I gotta take care of myself, Uncle Phil. I don't want a handout. I don't want to. It's like the generation. It's like I understand like you want to treat your kids because you don't want them to experience the life you did. But guess what? If you block them and bubble them from all reality, you know what they're gonna turn into? Daniel Kibblesmith, who cringes when a woman tries to hug him, and he's afraid of a comic book character when he sees metal claws. God damn, where are your balls, sir?
Oh, dude, I don't think he wants to mess with Luke Cage. He'd be terrified of that man.
Oh, yeah, he's terrified of anyone. He looks like a Jewish Wolverine who only goes out with dreidels. I'm sorry.
No, I mean,
no, see, don't be sorry. Remember, see, you just went there.
No, I have to apologize to Lorena because it's still her show, and I like my job, the unpaying as it is, but I like
that's
my
fair.
job. I love you too.
No, I love it when he rants like that because to add on to that, it is hard for some people if they've grown up. If they've grown up, had a harder upbringing, and they don't want their kids to suffer. I kind of look at my grandparents, who they grew up in the Jim Crow South. And that's where they grew up. And so their kids, they really didn't want their kids to to have to really go through that. So they tried to do as much as they could to make their lives, easier. And a lot of them, they went and moved to the north, like my parents did. And some of them got here and kind of saw some things that they didn't like because some of them only had the choice to move to the cities. They wound up shipping their kids to the grandparents' house for the summer. Why? Because you learn just how sheltered, your life is. You wake up and you're like, where's the mall? What mall? There's a dirt road down the street. We go into town once a week. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you
better
mean?
make sure that you write down a list because if you don't get it while we're here, you're not getting it. Oh, and by the way, here's another list right here. This gets done every single day. This gets done every single week. It don't get done. You and I are going to the shed. I'm not playing.
Oh, I'm gonna go get. You're gonna go pick
See,
that switch off for me.
Woo.
And yeah, that's like what it
What?
was. Guess what? Oh, we're gonna have fish tonight. Oh, we're going to the store to buy fish. No, you see those fishing poles over there? We're gonna go
Mhm.
take those and get some bait, and we're gonna go down to the river and we're gonna catch fish for a fish fry. And it's just like,
see, my
I'm
brother, like we used to,
Mm.
I had two other brothers, right? They did it. My parents did a rotation during the summer. They would throw one kid off to the grandparents for a week.
Right.
And my middle brother, he hated it so much, but he like because he didn't like the way my grandmother cooked, right? Because she's old fashioned German. So
Sure.
he literally went to going, oh my, I'm allergic to Brussels sprouts, or I'm allergic to pork chops. Whatever she was making that night, he was allergic to it. And like, how are you allergic to pork chops? They're too dry. That's not an allergy. You just don't like the way they taste, and the way
Thank
they are in
you.
your mouth, man.
Man.
But going back to the upbringing thing, like I'll be honest, my household was never stable. I got kicked out at a young age, couldn't finish high school. I lived on the streets. I slept under heating vents. I lived in shelters. I got beat up. I got robbed. And you know what?
mm,
I learned a good lesson from there. No one's there to pick you up.
Yep.
You got to work hard. And the things that everyone else gets handed to them, like the way kids get iPhones and all that stuff, guess what? It doesn't matter. I would rather have TV at the time, internet, a roof over my head, food, and the ability to feel safe for a night when I slept. These people don't understand that because you can spoil your kids.
Yes.
But guess what? Your
Mm.
kids are not a godsend. They are a responsibility as well as an honor to have your life being passed on to a new generation. You
And
can't
another
just
thing
treat
to
it like a
right.
fragile doll.
Yeah.
Yep.
And another
Definitely.
thing to add on to that, it's like it's different if you're teaching your kids these lessons and they decide to be hard-headed and not learn them. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
not that I didn't teach you. It's like you decided to not pay attention. So guess what?
Absolutely.
You're just going to have to learn how it is, to
Yeah. Like,
fail, and either you learn from that, or you don't. But it seems like these days trying to say those things, it's like you're bad if you're bad if you say them.
telling people to do work, that is the verbal coup. No offense to the wording, but
Oh
it's the
yeah, they don't
truth.
like
It's like, you
that.
mean I have to work hard? No one's gonna hold my hand and forklift
hmm
me to success? No. You want to forklift to success? Become a criminal. It's a lot easier.
No, you don't
Yeah.
think that you're just going to be able to just walk into, a company and
This
say,
is mine
"Hey,
now.
I want $100K job a year." Really?
It's like
Mm.
what's that Tom Hanks movie where like I'm the captain now? It's like that they walk over everywhere going, I am the boss now. I am the employed now. I own this now. And you're like, you own nothing but your own ego. And I'm
No,
sorry
what
this
you own?
bothers me so much.
You own that seat right back there. Why don't you go ahead and sit in it?
Yeah.
You own that.
Are you
Exactly.
appropriating me to Rosa Parks?
Only half of
I'm
it.
going to cross the line here because like there are so many good people on YouTube that have gone from both sides, and when you see like the fandom menace and stuff, none of them seem like they're full of themselves. They all look like they're working hard. They're all experiencing 2020 in their own way, and
Yep.
it makes them a stronger voice. And then you got these check marks on Twitter, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking, I'm going, has anyone ever told you no in your life? Have you
There you
ever
go.
understood the word no and accepted it? Because I don't think you have.
Hmm.
Because life
No.
isn't yes to whatever you want. Life is supposed to be a struggle. Even if it's a light struggle, I don't care about the rich. Rich don't count at this point. They get their own crap. But you have to have balance. It's like the force. Good, evil, light, dark,
Mm.
yin, yang. There has
Yep.
to be balance. You cannot always have it one way. Because you know what happens? It
Mm.
ruins your family. If you decide to have a family, it ruins the future of society in those aspects. Because
Well,
you are
Trace,
becoming self-indulgent.
that's true. Well, Trace, let me ask you a question. So,
Sorry.
what would you say is the most cringy thing you've seen a blue check on Twitter say?
Man, to narrow that down, that's
Well, you can pick a bucket. Pick your top 3.
I mean, just like the most recent one would have to be Kibble Smith talking about making that insinuation with that he, would it work better if I covered my hands in tape and held a bat in my hand? Like,
Oh, I
really,
gotta
bro?
find that one.
Really? You're talking about you want to do some violence. That's probably my number one thing that I love. I love seeing folks like that do, because you take one look at them and they have never been in a fight in their life. They're sitting up
Mm-mm.
here talking about they're going to do something. Really, I would show up. I would show up. Go ahead, please.
I
Do
have
what
to
you're going to do.
contradict.
I dare
I
you.
think they have been in a fight, Trace. I really do, but I think it was only with the customer service on Amazon. I think it's the only fight they've ever been on.
Maybe. But I mean,
they
like
still lost.
for real, let's meet
No,
behind the gym kind of. No, they've never been through that.
No, this
They
is
don't know
Because
the
what that
now
is.
there's cameras behind the gym at their schools, remember? So they can't get beat up because their pocket protectors will alert all the teachers. Oh my god, I am so raged with these types. Oh my god. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
dude. Oh,
especially this dude, because this is the same dude who on that show Millionaire Matchmaker,
Yeah.
it's like he couldn't stand to be
Yeah.
hugged. He didn't know what like ew, girl cooties,
yeah, it was like,
ew,
yeah, it was
ew.
like the girl, she would want to give him a hug, and it would just be like one of those ghost things. It's like, how can I do that?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever touched anyone else? Not even just a female, anyone. Have you ever touched anybody else in your whole life? I don't think you have. I think
Nobody.
you've been Bubble Boy. You
Yeah.
never had that, you've always had that barrier. Now you don't, and she wants to dance with you.
Nobody.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
But this goes down to the same type of guys who they love to talk a lot of crap from
Yes, they
behind the
do.
keyboard.
Mhm.
But once people start calling them out, it's like, you mean,
Yeah.
mean you really want to kick my ass for real?
Mhm.
Okay,
Oh,
let me
now they're
go.
harassing you.
Yeah, now they're
Better get
harassing
them
you.
banned.
Let me
Never mind
block
all the
you.
crap you were talking before when you were sitting there telling, "Oh, I'll do this and I'll do this." And
Exactly.
finally they're like, you know what? Do it. Do it. Come on. You know what? Here, hold on. Let me send this to you.
Wait.
I'll send you this location. You meet me here at
It's
5 o'clock. We'll do it. I'm down.
Ex-
Let's go. And they're like,
exactly.
he's harassing me.
You're
This is
harassing
the
me like
same. Sorry,
to
I just
Twitter and all of that. And these are the same people who, in the fandom menace, if we talk about we don't like a certain thing or whatever, they're the
Yeah.
same ones that will talk a bunch of crap to
Oh yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
But if they saw you on the street, they would run the other direction.
They ain't playing with that.
Mm-mm.
They're not playing with that. They
This
don't
is the
understand what that is.
Yeah, this is the same guy who wrote the book Santa's Husband and made the huntsman black.
Yes.
And I actually have an excerpt from that book if you want to actually have a live reading one day.
Hold on, I have to show you guys. I have to show you this tweet because Kibble Smith, because this is funny. This is
Is this
funny.
the bat one?
Yes.
It's funny to read that.
I can't even pick up a bat.
This wasn't the bat one, but this was the one. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Would it help if I came in with my hands wrapped in bandages, gently tapping a baseball bat against my opposite palm? And our
Comic
good friend Comic
Division.
Division says, "Bitch, please, you wouldn't
Child,
know what's
please.
hitting you."
Oh, and then I don't know who sent it, but somebody believe in the comment thread, somebody sent him an Amazon link to a wiffle bat
The
set.
wiffle bat.
That killed me. I was like, yes. Like, I mean, if you're gonna do it, let's start light now. We don't want to overdo it.
That squirrel has bigger nuts than Kibble Smith. I'm sorry.
Can't hurt. Yeah, right. Oh, I love Mr. Burns.
Yeah,
That's a
right,
good
exactly.
one.
Yeah,
Here for the
I'm here
comment.
for it. I'm here for it. Let's go.
Now comes the part
Now
where
comes
we
before I
throw
hit
our
back
heads
in
in laughter. Ready?
How could you possibly throw a head back and laugh? Ready? Ready?
Here's the wiffle
Yeah,
ball.
right there. There it is. That's the one. Actually, send it to him. It's like, hey, man, if you really want to practice up, got this here for you.
Yeah, let's start at at the bottom, at the fundamentals. Learn how to hit a wiffle ball first.
I will say though, even though that's not likely to break any bones, those wiffle bats hurt. So if
They
you got
leave
one of
the
those,
red
boy,
marks.
just go at them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like a dodgeball in bat form. You remember dodgeball and a kid, the big red balls?
Yeah,
Remember
it's
when you got
very
hit with
much
those?
like
Yeah,
that.
it's exactly like that. It's like when you smack your brother or sister in the side of the head by accident because they walked into your baseball swing, and you're like, "But I didn't do it."
Yeah, like that was totally not on purpose.
No,
I
no.
swear it
I
wasn't.
did that to my
I told
brother
you to
once.
back up, and then I went to go. I wasn't even swinging. I just
I did that to my brother once, but it wasn't a wiffle bat. It was like the wooden Louisville Slugger, and he walked into the after swing of missing.
Oh,
the
I've done
ball,
that.
And he got it right in the temple.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've done that. And the whole
Yeah.
thing was my cousin was picking it up, and I thought he was just gonna pick it up. No, he picked it up and went to swing it over his shoulder to walk away from him, and then I was right behind him, so bap right in the head.
Oh,
I
man.
looked at him
Was
with
it
a
the middle
look like
toe?
I'm gonna feed that to you. He ran off. I know he didn't do it on purpose. I was mad for a second, but I know he didn't do it on purpose. But he ran in the house like, I'm not gonna do nothing. It just hurt. That's all.
Well, Trace, why don't you tell us about some of the fandoms you're interested in?
Porn.
Well, for the longest time up until recently, I was into the new Doctor Who. I was watching a lot of the old stuff to try and kind of pick up some history because a lot of my friends watched the older ones, especially the Tom Baker ones. But I got my real start with Eccleston in series 9, and watched him go all the way up until about the first season of Capaldi, and I was kind of like, eh. But I fell in love with Doctor Who. I thought it was great. It was a cool show, and it kind of sucked that I missed out on it for so long.
But
because
you can't say that though, Trace, because you're also getting to have every Doctor from black and white to color. You get to experience it and binge that for a month. So you get absorbed in that universe. So you kind of also lucked out. I didn't mean to cut you off, but you got
a little bit
side of the coin.
A little bit, and I also got to see the difference in that because I actually got to watch some Hartnell episodes. So Doctor One, and watching that in black and white was so different. It is such a different show than what they ended up doing later on. Even just with number 4 with Tom Baker, when they got to him, that was a very different show from what they were doing before. So it really changed with the times, and sometimes it was a little schlocky and silly, but I mean, overall, it was a cool show. I dug it.
I didn't get into Doctor Who. I knew what it was. I had some friends who were into it. I just didn't get a chance to invest in it and watch it. But after interviewing Eris, I'm like, maybe I should get into Doctor Who and find out what it was like before it got blown up.
Yep.
For lack of a better term.
Basically.
I'm so disappointed in Lorena. You have no idea.
What? Look, dude, I can't get into everything, but you know what? I had mad respect for it because I think I had told this story when I was going to conventions over in the UK. One of the things I was excited about was running into homegrown Doctor Who fans who were over there, and at the conventions, I saw like the Daleks, and you saw like the TARDIS, like replications of the TARDIS, and just talking to Doctor Who fans. So I had mad respect for that franchise, even though I wasn't personally into it. It's like the same thing with Lord of the Rings. I wasn't into fantasy, but could appreciate, how wonderful that, that franchise was. So
Absolutely.
I was told to start with season 5 of Doctor Who.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
You don't buy what?
You. I just don't buy it.
That I didn't see Doctor Who.
I'm just being difficult because I have to be.
I have the option. I'm pushing the button.
You know what?
I am appropriating sarcastic humor.
That ranks up there with me telling people that I fell asleep during the battle scene in the second Lord of the Rings movie. I'm sorry, that was too damn long, and I was tired, and it was on DVD. Okay.
Now that's my time to take points off because Helm's Deep is my favorite part of all 3 films. Even that last battle was cool, but Helm's Deep, man, just because I remember reading that in the book. In the book version, I remember reading it, and I got a lot of the same. The reason it works for me is because a lot of the same visuals that they filmed were what I saw in my head. So when I saw it on screen, I was like, that is exactly what I thought that looked like. This is cool. And they're like doing everything. So watching that was cool. I love that part. I get it though. Like if you're really tired, man, there's almost nothing's going to keep you awake.
I was
Trace,
flipping
now picture that memory,
exhausted.
and now picture Lorena snoring beside you while you're watching that.
It's one of those just
like, did you really just fall asleep? But I did. But you know what? To my credit, the next day, it's like I popped the DVD in and I watched the whole thing from start to finish. So it wasn't that I was bored. I was just flipping exhausted. But I'm like, you know what? I was like, I want to see this. I want to see this. I want to see this. And knocked out. But the movies, because I didn't read the book, the movies I was very excited about because I love film. And I was just so immersed in the world building and all of that. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to watch on DVD.
Still, tell me about this because I don't know how you might feel about it. But one of the other scenes that was really powerful for me, and I think for a lot of people when they watched it, was watching Faramir and Boromir's dad gorging on his food while he had I believe it was Mary or Pippin, one of the two was singing for him, sang one of their songs from back home, and it's just him a cappella singing. Well, this is just stuff in his face, and just that diametric look of this human is just greedy. He's nasty. He's disgusting. His kids are dead. They're gone, and it's like he doesn't even care. You know, and you got this hobbit. He just wants to go home. He's trapped. He's caught up in this thing, and he's singing this song. He's singing it because he misses home and because he misses everything that he loves, and he could lose it all. And his heart is pouring out, and this man just doesn't care. And that's so powerful, seeing that moment, because you're really hoping that their dad gets his, and he did eventually. But you know, you're just hoping for it because it's disgusting.
Just that contrast between, you know, the Hobbit, who's like, he misses his home, he misses everything about that, and you can feel it like in his soul, and he's pouring this out. This dude just don't give a crap.
No, he's chilling. He's got his big old house around him and his food, and he don't need nothing else. Like you can tell, it's like he never even really cared about his sons. The only thing he cared about with his sons is what they could give his name. That's all he cared about. He didn't care about them and what they were doing. That's the reason why they were acting the way they were. It's like, I want my father to look at me and say, I'm proud of you. You did good. He never does that.
And that's one of the great things about great filmmaking, where they can set that and evoke that kind of emotion in the audience when you watch it. You know,
people were crying during that scene. People were crying in the audience during that scene when I went to see Return of the King because of how powerful that was.
And that's because Lorena was snoring again.
She might have been. I don't know. I'd have to look back. She might have been.
No. Your girl was wide awake for Return of the King. Okay, I saw that in the theater. Your girl was watching that. But because another thing when it goes to great filmmaking, and I've dinged The Mandalorian on this, especially with the season 2 first episode. Yeah, I got to ding him a little bit for it, but you know what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
the whole thing with show versus tell.
Yes.
Lord Doctor.
You need to show me why I should care about a certain thing. And that scene that you described from Lord of the Rings, that shows me so I can form an attachment. If you tell me, it's just going to go over my head. I don't care. I don't feel an attachment. But if you take the time to show me what's going on, to get an emotion and to create an attachment, that is much more powerful.
Are you saying that when it comes to Mandalorian, they're lacking, I'm going to use the word humanity, because there seems to be a lack of humanity attached to why they're doing the things they're doing during an hour episode. There's no humanity. There's no emotion. It's just like, here's an Easter egg. Here's some nostalgia, but we're not going to explain why any of these things are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're just here. Don't think about it. It's fine.
Yeah, don't think about it. I need just to pull something from and I always call it like the elementary level of canon when it comes to Star Wars, because for me, that's the 6 movies, episodes 1 through 6. So it's like in A New Hope, where you meet Ben Kenobi and he's the mentor and he's teaching Luke, and you hear his backstory, and it's like he has to redeem himself from what happened, but the Clone Wars. So when you see him get struck down by Darth Vader, you feel that loss. And even though, you know, Luke's like screaming and all that, and you're just like, he's going to get shot if he hangs around there, but you're just like, he just saw his mentor get struck down. And it's like, you felt that. He was just gone. And it's not like he went out swinging. He voluntarily.
Yeah, he let it happen because he knew what it would do.
Exactly.
This was the best move at the time. Could he have beaten Vader then? Maybe. He might have been able to do it. But there was a much bigger lesson to learn. There was a much more important part that he was to play in this. And to do that, he would have to let go. And that was also something he wanted to teach Luke. If you want to transcend where you are, sometimes you don't fight. You let go. And when you let go, that's when the real power comes out. It's just like when he beats his dad down. He has him. He's got him on the ground. In fact, that was one of my favorite scenes of Return of the Jedi, just watching him batter his father down, knocked his arm off, and he's got him. You strike one more time and it's over. He could end this right now. Yeah, but what will it do to you? What will you pay in your soul to do that? And he said, you know what? No, I'm not doing it. Turns off the saber. And he learned the lesson. He got it.
Yeah.
You know, and what makes it even more powerful is if you go back and you watch Obi-Wan growing up and doing his thing, you understand who he is and what he's about. So when he lets go, it makes even bigger sense. Like, okay, I really see you've learned, you got it.
Exactly. And it's like, but if they hadn't taken the time, if Lucas hadn't taken the time to put that in the film and show us piece by piece by piece what was going on, we wouldn't care about Obi-Wan's sacrifice at all.
Nope, it wouldn't make any real significant difference. It's just another dude dying. Okay.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. I know another series that does that pretty well. It's right there on your wall.
Oh, Harry Potter.
Yes, that's another one that does that brilliantly.
Absolutely.
It even goes and explains our villain, and that's the best part about that. You want to understand why he is the one who shall not be named. They do tell you in little tiny segments as you go across. You start learning how this kid went from being like just any other wizard to I want to be the most powerful, with the caveat, I want to be the most powerful, and I don't care what I have to do it.
None. I mean,
I will give anything.
The part that because I didn't read the books, again, this is one of where I was watching the movie.
You really hate reading, don't you?
No, I don't. It's just
the books will give you a different perspective. It's worth trying when you get time.
They do, because I had to get them on Audible because I just didn't have the time. So I listened to them on Audible. Like I'm going through Order of the Phoenix. Right now,
man, boy, that's the marathon right there.
Ooh.
I understand not wanting to read that book. That's only what 800 pages. That was a slog, boy.
I said I love to read, but for real, you know. But yeah. So I loved Audible because I could sit there and I could, and I could listen to it. And in not the Order of Phoenix, but I think it's the Deathly Hallows, where they show in the movie where Tom Riddle is asking questions
about the Horcrux.
About the Horcrux.
Yep. How can I transcend death?
How can I transcend death? And you're in the professor. Oh God, was it Slughorn? I'm starting to forget.
I want to say it was he made mention of it, but then he realized what he had said, and it was just like, no, I don't want you to look into it. No,
yeah,
you don't mess with those. Those are dangerous. Oh no, I would never do that. Write that down.
You know why, and that's just to evoke that we're just like everything that we've seen, the fact that he should not be named, everything that he was willing to do, people that he was willing to kill without a second thought, people that he was willing to manipulate. That point he was like, oh my God, I didn't think this guy could get any more sinister.
Yeah.
And that just happens. And the fact that in out of the books, I wound up freaking hating Professor Snape in the beginning, couldn't stand his behind. And then to see what was going on in the background, just like,
yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And he pulled a Kenobi too, if you notice.
Yep, he did.
He knew that he had to let go because Harry is what he wanted out of the whole thing. He wanted to be his dad in a way, and he would have been if things had gone a little bit different with Harry's mom, but it didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't go that way. But he can see the kid's got potential, and he's the one that can get this done. So fine, Bikini, bite me. I don't give a damn anymore. It's just on you, bro. Make it happen.
But at the same time, he's not doing what we were talking about earlier. He's actually making Harry not feel special. Not like just because his name means something that he should be getting special treatment. He made Harry work. And
he pushed him harder than most other students because he knew he had potential, but you're going to have to learn. And that's why he teases him in the first book, because he's just like, because he saw his dad in him and he hated his dad because his dad treated him like crap. So he's just like, all right, you little punk, let's see how special you really think you are. And he got that little moment of triumph of like, you don't know anything, do you?
Nothing. I remember the scene where he's trying to teach him. He's like, you have to protect, your mind. And he was just freaking out about it. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And he was like, you're just like your father, lazy.
Exactly.
Called him everything in the book. He said, I'm not my father. He said, then prove it.
Exactly. All that wasted potential. Your dad was the same way. He could have done so much. He could have been someone, but instead he decided to just ride on it. Why your mother loved him, I'll never know.
I know. I'm just like,
Because
I
I'm over here grinding, making myself the best I could be, and she wouldn't even give me the time of day. Yet your dad swoops in there with his little circular glasses and his hair like just like that crap you got on your head, and she was just little turd, you know. And so like he pushed her.
push
Yeah,
him
but
something else to see that memory where he just, for years he's just like, my dad was wonderful and whatever. It's like, no, your dad was an asshat.
yep, your dad was a bully. He was a jerk.
Yeah.
And he really put it in perspective for him. He's just like, damn, really? No, man, no, you mess with that. No, that is it. That was your dad. He was that guy. Now, he probably grew out of it, but when he was in Wizarding College, yeah, he was a jerk.
Mhm.
That's what I had to put up with. Don't be him. Don't do that.
Don't be that guy. But I love that. Yeah, it's like that kind of exposition,
Yeah. And
formed of
the conclusion is also good. Minor spoiler alert for those who might not know. I'm going to try to keep this simple. The last battle that they do is very different in the films. It was very different because they wanted to give you a badass visual, give you something awesome to watch. And they did a great job. But it really comes down to an OK Corral shootout. That's what it really comes down to. And I actually prefer that ending. And the reason for that is because it shows you, no matter what you learn, no matter how many times you struggle to cut people off and knock them off the ladder to be on top, all it takes is one person making one good shot, and all that work goes away.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened to him. When it came down to it, he had everything. Voldemort was on top. There was no way this punk kid was going to stop him, even if he did learn.
No.
Yeah, but it was that kid's day, and he got you.
And he did. And again, it's that arrogance to think that you are invincible.
Exactly.
That also can totally also relate to why Ray Patine, also known as the Ray of Skywalker, air quotes, because I'm not calling her that, is why she failed as a protagonist. She was treated and made as a character that didn't need lessons, was able to do everything on a whim, and everyone was okay with that. It was because she had two tits, excuse my language, and she was woman. It had nothing else. There was no training, and I'm trying to sound rude, but the thing Harry Potter did, that's what Star Wars lacked, I think, in a character development strategy.
They did.
And it might not be just because she was a woman, but they had a chance to not only take two characters and make them the new yin yang of the Force. They went somewhere else, which involved a wiffle bat and a whole lot of adamantium claw fear.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, the biggest thing with that, with protagonists, especially the ones who have massive potential, the number one thing you want to do with a massive potential character is have the knockdown segment, because that's when they start learning. Yeah, they're really good at things. They know how to do this, that, and the third off the bat. It's like they could just do it from birth. That's amazing. Until they come across somebody who has experience. They don't know as much as you. They might not even be as strong as you, but they faced worse and they can outsmart you. They put you on the back foot for the first time in your life. You thought you were just going to roll in and take care of this? No, you're not. Now what do? Who are you?
I agree exactly. It's never what you're taught in a classroom. It's what you experience every day. That is what develops your character. That's what develops you as a soul. That's what develops you with talking and dealing with people. And there is nothing less than experiencing face to face. That's why I'm kind of upset with the way 2020's gone, like with kids that have lost out on their school years, right? Because it's not just about the education. They've also lost the social interaction and people skills they usually building, especially let's say from kindergarten up to let's say grade 5. Those are the most important years in my opinion. I'm not a parent, but from those years, you develop how to deal with people, how to see everyone as equal. And now that they're all on social media, all they're seeing is hate, division, and they're not understanding that this is not how real people work.
It's a very curated, image.
Right there.
It's not what you used to be able to do back in the day. You saw people every
It's
day.
grooming.
You
It's
You
could
had to say it to
hardly,
their face.
yeah, you would have to say that crap to your
Yeah.
face. It's one
They
thing
had
to bully somebody
telephones.
online. Yeah, it's like you had the phone, you could kind of
Mhm.
that was it. But you eventually you had to face that person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You want to know what that stuff is like? Just ask anybody who's from a small town. Any small town
Uh-huh.
kid from back in the day. Ask your grandma. If she came from a small town, ask your grandma or your grandpa.
Hmm.
Ask them what it was. And they'll tell you, yeah, they had the telephone. But if you started talking mess on the telephone, here's the problem. There's only 2,000 people in that town. Most of them live
Hmm.
in clusters. They know exactly where you're at. Go ahead and say some stuff. They'll be on your front lawn. And guess what? Your mom or your dad is going to kick you outside to go deal with it too. They're not going to leave you in the house. Because as soon as they're like, well, he said this to me the other day. Did you say that? Really? Hold on. Get outside. No. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna say it to his face right now.
Hmm.
Go on. You made this bed. You're gonna go lie in it.
Yeah.
I'll go get the first aid kit.
Yeah,
And that's it. You
and
have to go and confront him and either tell him you're sorry or say it again.
or handle that stuff.
You
I mean,
know?
even now, the small town where my aunt is from, which is so small, if I go out anywhere with her, they see her, they know her, they look at me,
Yep.
and they remember who my mom is. Yeah, I went to school with her and such and such and so,
Mhm.
whatever. To the point where my aunt was just like, okay, when you come to visit, pull the car up in the garage and I'll park behind you, because as soon as people see there's some strange car they don't know, they all come dropping into the
They gotta
house.
find out what's going on. And that's a
Who
new
are
person.
you? Why are you there? I mean, they
Yep.
play it up as a caricature in film, but it is very true. Small
They do.
towns, they're very protective of
Mhm.
their town. They need to know who you are. If you're a stranger in town, no, they're not really going to trust you. They'll put you at a distance, but that's because they don't know you.
Exactly.
And you don't have a stake in this town. You don't have skin in the game in this town. You could screw up and move on. But we have to deal with with the
With the
fallout
fallout.
from that.
Yep.
And that's like with social media. You can say, curate whatever image you want and cause whatever damage, and poof, your account is gone, but the damage is still behind.
Exactly. A lot of the people today, what they're getting, especially with social media, and even if you have, the ability to do face to face like we're doing now, that is the biggest part of the context you're missing is all of that. The social structure built around interpersonal relation, talking to people, asking questions, getting answers, maybe saying something that rubs somebody the wrong way, and how you deal with that situation of like, I didn't, either you meant to upset them or you didn't mean to, and how do you deal with that? How do you deal when they don't want to talk to you right now? Maybe eventually. Right now, they're mad at you.
Yeah.
And you got to deal with that. You got to sit in that for a minute because they're not going to talk to you.
Mm-mm.
So how do you handle
reading
that?
faces. It's also like reading the faces, reading expressions. That's one thing
Yes.
when it comes like if you're not on a camera, you're texting. Texting is the
Mhm.
most informal yet most popular way to communicate with people, but you
Yeah.
will never know the emotion behind it because LOL is just 3 letters and you don't even know if they mean it. And I hate that part when it comes to communication. If I know you, I'm saying this hypocritically because you can't see my face. It's just a plastic dragon talking, but that's for
Mm-hmm.
my own reasons. But if you can't see a person's reaction to how you're treating them, you won't know if you're actually treating them with respect or not. And
Yeah.
it's like you might go around the whole time with this derived ego because you think you're treating everyone equally, and you're literally just being the biggest asshat, as Lorraine would say, to everyone.
Yeah.
And I feel so sorry for those kids, going back to those kids,
Yeah.
because they are missing out on how to deal with people because the real world is all people.
Yeah. And they talk
It's not a
about
screen.
not being told no ever. That's one of
Mhm.
the biggest, most sheltered things. See,
Yep.
because, our parents, when they didn't want us to do something, they would flat out tell us no,
Or
period.
backhand you.
And we don't like it. That's when we don't, you want to talk back. Okay. There's things that are going to happen for that, but they're telling you no for a reason. Sometimes, and the hardest part is learning what that means. Either it's, I don't want you to do this because you're going to hurt yourself, or you're going to do something to the house or whatever. Or I'm going to tell you no, because I want to see how bad you want that. You want to go do this thing. Well, I'm going to tell you no. I'm not going to help you with that. So what are you going to do? You're gonna go out and make it happen yourself? Because if you can make it happen yourself, hey, you do what you want. But I'm not helping you. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, they've never been told that. So now they get out in the real world with people who expect something from you. They're not just going to give it to you. It's just like, oh, I want to do this. Okay, can you do this, this, and this?
Yeah, they're professional
No,
bums.
but I should still get to do that. No, that's not how this works. You have to meet this prerequisite. Well, I didn't have to do that with mom and dad. I'm not mom and dad, little one. You're going to have to figure it out.
This is real world.
They're
I go with software developers. Sorry, see what I mean to cut you off.
No,
But like
it's
even in the real world where, I have to deal with some software developers who, if I say, and we don't have a whole lot of text sometimes, it's just like, your code's not working, it's breaking, you need to fix it.
Yep.
The software developers who are used to their stuff being criticized, they're like, okay, well, show me why it's broken. And once you prove that, okay, yeah, I effed up. Let me go fix it and come back. Then you
Sure.
have other ones who will freaking cry and get butthurt because you tell them their stuff isn't working. It's just like, when the heck did that happen? Because it used to be, okay, because I always am from the premise of, I think I'm always right, unless you can prove
you're a
without
woman, so
shadow of a
that's the
doubt
stereotype.
that I'm wrong. Well, this is even worse when it comes to
I'm sorry,
IT.
I had to.
You know how it goes. If you have to go to the whiteboard and you have those whiteboard fights and you're just like, dang, I guess I really am wrong. All right, well, my bad. I have to go, and fix it. And it went from you're wrong based on X, Y, and Z to, well, it's all about what I feel.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I did it right. Well, that line of code that's not done properly begs to differ. So it don't matter how you feel. The computer doesn't know how you feel. The only thing the computer knows is you said that and that caused an error. So maybe go fix that.
I believe that those types have been raised to become professional panhandlers, but they're not asking for money.
Mhm.
They're asking for the job. They're asking for the comic book character. They're asking to be in the Senate, and they don't think they should work for it. They like, went to college. I got this degree in soy-based lattes. I deserve all of this. You deserve nothing. Because you see that guy over there with the ripped jeans? And no, he didn't buy them ripped. That guy just fell down the stairs trying to get his assignment in on time. That's what we call a worker. You, sir, are someone who got drove in here by a Prius Uber that mommy and daddy paid for, and everything should be there on a silver goddamn platter. Guess what? That goddamn silver platter goes to someone who works for it, deserves it, who has seen what the worthwhile effort of your busting ass does.
That was 2.5 years of Red Robin right there. That's what that was. That's what that is. Yeah, I know it's a cheap little Toyota something that's like 6 years out of date. I know, but A, it runs, and B, it's theirs.
Yeah,
mommy and daddy didn't hand them that. Not that they wouldn't have helped them if they could. They couldn't. They just weren't able to. So they made it happen on their own.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Trace used to own a Gremlin. I'm guessing Trace used to own a Gremlin.
Did you really?
No, my first car was a Ford Escort from like 1990, I think.
Oh no,
it was the first one I ever had, and I didn't get it until like 97. So yeah,
it's better.
Everybody had that beater car. My favorite beater car when I was in college was a 1985 Buick Regal. I bought it from this lady down the street. That car was live.
Yes, that's what it's all about.
The sad thing is, nice. I've never driven in my life. I've never gone for a driver's test. My closest thing to being in a car was probably Burnout Paradise. That was the video game. But like I said, remember, I got kicked out at an early age, right? So driving is like a privilege in a way because it's literally 4 wheels and an insurance bill. That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's responsibility, but I never saw the urge in driving.
Yeah,
it's like nobody has to unless it's.
I got hit a lot.
Unless oh Lord. That's horrible. But unless you're in the situation where you have to drive, like I was the oldest kid, so as soon as I got my license, they were pushing for me to get it. Okay, I was basically the Uber driver.
Yeah, yep. I was that for my friends. I was one of the first ones to get a car in my group of friends. So yeah, we were rolling everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
I go to the store, go pick up your sister from school, go do this, go pick this up. I'm like,
it's really hard to look cool at school in your mom's minivan.
Thankfully, I didn't have that problem. One of my buddies did, though.
You're playing like Korn or Cold Chamber or some badass heavy metal, and all you see is this like
In an Astro van.
champagne white van with the bumper falling off. Like, hey guys, I got my license. What the?
Dude.
Yeah, and
Right.
everybody laughs until you end up pulling in until see that was my buddy Teddy. Everybody laughed at him until he came rolling into school with 5 good-looking girls getting out the van. Yeah, not so funny no more, is it?
Well, Trace, I wanted to ask you. So you're in a lot of chats and live stream. What would you say, as someone in the chat, what are some of the best things that someone hosting a live stream can do to involve the chat more in what's going on?
Nudity.
Usually it just comes down to being able to ask a question that they can answer in a way that hopefully doesn't lead to a flood of stuff. Because I know that usually happens. It's like, 1 for this, 2 for that, and then it's just like math for like the next 10 minutes. Because people will say 1 for this, 2 for this. The other guy says 37 because he's being an ass.
Hey, I did that twice.
I wasn't calling anyone out in particular.
I'm looking off to the left, going, "I'm not telling the truth either."
Yeah, I've done that once or twice. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard with the chat just because of the way it flows. Because you'll try to read it all, and it'll just like you've said, and a lot of people, Krista says it too, that it just jumps on you. Somebody said something in here you wanted to read. That's up here now somewhere off. But yeah, engaging questions where it's like, what do you guys think? Because we're looking at this article and you see what this fool wrote. What do you think? And just catch a couple and be like, yeah, okay, this is going on screen. See this right here. That's what I'm talking about. How goofy is that? And I mean, that's usually what we end up trying to do is write something that is just so like that goes on the screen. That's funny. That is funny. Or actually spot on. That's exactly what I was thinking, kind of thing. So any kind of question you can pose, or maybe somebody will put something on the screen you can bounce off of, whatever it is. Because I try to do that.
Yeah, you when you eat between the regular chats and even when you super chat, you will come up with some really, really excellent, insights and all that.
I try to. Because I mean, sometimes there's situations that like, yeah, you got to talk about them, especially when it came to like we had to deal with harassment not long ago, and there was just no place for that. So I had some things to say in regards to that, how to treat other people, because that's another problem this online culture's teaching.
That
It's okay to be an ass, abusive, to cancel people,
Mhm.
all because their opinion doesn't match yours. And guess what?
Yep.
Opinion is a style of free speech. It's also
It
a part
is.
of free choice. It doesn't matter what they said. If it's not affecting you and your ability to breathe, walk, and talk, let it the hell go. It's not
Exactly.
going to affect the end of your life. Twitter is not real. Social media is not real. Unless you know those people and they're your real life friends, they're just another name behind a screen. They're
Exactly.
invisible ghosts.
And unfortunately, they
Yep.
make it seem as if your life on social media has to look a certain way, has to sound a certain way. And if you're not on social media, your life means nothing.
Exactly. But see, this is one thing I really want you to pay attention to, you random person watching this. This is something, if you take nothing else away from social interaction on social media, Facebook, what have you, social media clout is not real clout.
Let's say that again.
I like Teletubbies.
That too. Social media clout is not real clout. It's not the same thing. Period. It doesn't matter how many likes you get. It doesn't matter how many people retweet you. It doesn't matter if you make a video and somebody clips it. That's not the same thing as actual real clout, really putting things in. And you know what? It all comes down to the thing we've been talking about: work, results. Get results in your life. Make something, build something, be somebody. When you do that, that's real clout. That's what matters. They'll remember you in 20 years. So just, if you take nothing else away from it, that social media clout is not real clout.
Cue
Very
the
well
more
said.
you know insert. You're going to put in later.
You know,
Reading Rainbow.
Let me see. Do I
I
have that?
don't know. I'm still trying to get you to play the Steven one with the chicken nuggets and the nipple rubbing. You won't even play
Oh
that.
God, I forgot to download that. My bad.
I'm going to share it just because it is something that is funny when I
You have
find
to
it.
share it. There's so much stuff I have to more clips that I have to load in. And I thought I had that the more you know thing. I'm disappointed I didn't have that.
I'm very disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta lose cool points for that.
well.
But
I mean,
Trace,
what
you
can you
speak
do?
truth, man, and it's really nice hearing other people kind of saying the same thing because no offense, we're a dying generation just in general with that type of mentality.
We really
And
are.
it's so scary because people just want to be given things
Well, I'll
and
tell you.
handed things, and it's just
Mhm. Well,
it's tiring.
I can tell you one thing. There are a generation of kids out there that are paying rapt attention to what's going on. And these are the ones who aren't trying to conform to the message being put out. They're rejecting this stuff about you. It's all about your feelings. They're, rejecting this thing that somehow masculinity is bad and feminism is bad.
It is
They
bad.
are,
It's
they are out there. When I say feminine, I shouldn't say feminine, excuse me. Femininity is bad.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
The
Femininity.
traditional model is the wrong model.
being
Exactly.
attractive is the wrong model. Like, remember the saying "boys don't cry," even though it was
Mhm.
a lie. People,
Of
it was
course
like a
not.
normal thing. Like you're Trey. Oh my God, sorry, Trace. You're probably gonna be crying after this. Going, why did I do this show with that guy? Why?
Maybe.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's like, then I'm sorry to even cut you off for a minute. It's like there's going to be attractive, weak people. There's going to be ugly people.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you're not attractive to someone else just because you don't look like a supermodel.
Yeah. And everyone struggles to be normal. Here's the thing.
Everyone's
What is wrong? Look at me. What is wrong with being abnormal?
I like your nostrils.
I've been
They flare up.
abnormal for a long time and I don't care. It's not that big a deal. I've always been the weird kid. I've always been that one that's off in the corner into my own thing where everybody's like, what is wrong with this guy?
Mhm.
I don't care what you think. I stopped caring way back in like 1992 what you thought. I took one look at the social circus going around when I got into middle school, because that's usually the time when all of that mess starts. I took one look at it and went, nope, I'm over here with my comic books. I don't care. I got my Walkman on. I'm just going to get my jams going and I'm going to chill because you people are weird. You're weirder than me. And that's saying something. So go ahead, be popular. I don't care about none of that.
And the thing
And
is,
oddly enough, that made me popular in high school.
yeah, it's
I
funny,
don't know how that works.
funny how that works. And it's like it's funny because once you get out of high school, at least for smart people, where you're just like, all that crap meant nothing. And then you get the people that the epitome of their life was high school, and you run into these people, and it's just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
And you get two classes of people out of that. You get the ones that later on, they didn't let go of high school at first, but when they got out there and got kicked around in the dirt a little while, they came to realize that that's not what that was. They made some mistakes, but they're better now.
Mhm.
And then you get the other ones, they never let it go. They never forgot that. And some of those folks are now the weird kids of the generations behind us. They never let high school go either. And so this is the reason why everybody wants to do prom in all of their cartoons. This is the reason why everybody wants to make that weirdo character that nobody likes them now, but now they have superpowers, because they haven't let go of that stigma of, I never got to be cool. Well, now that I'm in control, I'm going to make the coolest weird kid ever. And it's just like, there's a way to make that work, but you're doing it too hard. You're trying way too hard to make that weird kid you used to be
Mhm.
self-inserted into your story so that you can relive that moment and be cool.
And it's kind of to the point where it's before it used to be, okay, I had this awkward, weird experience, and I'm pretty sure some other people had the same experience.
Nope.
So let me make it relatable as
Yeah.
opposed to I'm going to use it to clobber you over the head with it.
Yep, that's today's stuff. Because, you get a lot of that. There's a lot of series out there that just start with the weird, quirky kid, no matter who they are. Nobody pays attention to them. They're kind of off in the corner, or they're not off in the corner. They're right in the center of attention because everybody wants to laugh.
Mhm.
They do sometimes have a gloating period when they first change whatever it is they're doing, whether it's magic or it's, they become a Power Ranger, whatever it is they do. And they eventually learn that they're turning into the monster that they feared. So they have to learn some lessons. Like, yeah, I'm cool now, but if I treat them like they treated me, I'm no better. I've got to
Exactly.
do something different. And they do. And that's the lesson you should learn from that. But they're not teaching them that. They're like, you were always awesome. You were always special. And
Mhm.
now that you're in control, you get to tell everybody that and ban anybody who disagrees with you.
Exactly, and to tag on to that, you get the people who it's just like, "Look, I'm sorry you got bullied in school. Crap happens. I'm
We
sorry
all went through it.
you're
Get
popular." A
over it.
lot of people went through that crap. Get over it, but then they get in control and turn into the same bullies
Yep.
that they didn't like, and
Yeah.
that's
But
But it's different because they're just
yeah,
getting one back. See, they treat it like it's a zero-sum game.
yeah.
mhm.
You treated me like dirt for 4 years. I'm gonna treat you like dirt for 4 years. And
Or
until
they're
I
gonna
get done with those 4 years, you don't get to say
yeah.
anything. After that, maybe I'll stop. They
Sorry, I
won't
didn't mean to
stop.
overtalk you, but they don't just do that. I'm gonna give you a demonstration of what cool is right now. Okay,
Here
you
we
ready?
go.
You ready? All right,
Here we
here we
go.
go. There we
Alright.
go. There we go. That's how
Yeah.
cool I am right now. I'm gonna keep playing.
Yeah. Oh, you want more chicken nuggets? Oh, that's really tough for you. I don't know what you're gonna do about that.
Yeah, there we go. There's a nice little video of everyone getting to see me twerk my nipples. I am done now. And one more time, just because someone in here is probably going, "What the hell did I just see?" There you go. I like the chicken nuggets. Okay, I'm done.
Oh my gosh.
But going back to that, there's another lesson, you guys. I don't know if you forgot or not, but there's another lesson attached to that. There's no
Mhm.
such thing as cool. It's a four-letter word. There was never such a thing as cool. There were cliques. There were niches of people who got together. And just because some of us who got bullied is because we were different, because they needed someone to outlet the thing they couldn't be on the inside to the people around them. And they were also trapped in their own way. So bullies and cliques also had their own problems, but they never put it on their shoulder. A lot of kids who got picked on, beat up, whatever. Yeah, they might have said the wrong thing or looked a certain way, but they also wore their hearts on their shoulders. And they were a target because they looked like an easy target. But there was never such a thing as cool. And I'm not trying to sound like a lecturer. Cool means nothing because guess what? I wasn't cool. Well, Lorena was a cheerleader, so I don't count her. But we're all talking about the same stuff on a
Yeah.
YouTube channel, or we're playing a video game together, but you don't know their history because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you
No,
start focusing on everyone that hurts you, you have become the villain you never wanted to be, all because of cool. Cool is
exactly.
a setting on your air conditioner. Get a grip.
And
What?
besides, being cool, the most important thing, when it comes to a
Look at
descriptor
celebrities.
about a person, the most important thing is you'll know that you are if you're not the only one saying it. If you have to tell somebody that you're nice, if you have to tell them that you're cool, if you got to tell them that you're badass, you're none of those things. If
I am
Exactly.
other
so
people are saying,
badass.
that's a badass right there, or she's so cool, man, I wish I could be like that. If they're saying it, yeah, you might be a little bit. Maybe you
But
are a little
I
bit.
can't accept
Maybe you
that though,
can
because
dust off the shoulder a little bit. But if you're the only one, yeah, I'm so cool. I'm so awesome. Alpha Chad, bro. Yeah, you're not cool. You just had big muscles, bro. That's it. That's all you got. You go to the gym, and hey, you know what? Good for you. I need to do that. But that's all you got.
my gym is at Wild Wings. Sometimes a
Okay.
buffet line.
You get a
Yeah.
boneless chicken wing every sit up.
Yeah, but that's I love this because we're actually talking something that's very natural and a lot of people don't actually hit on. This is like you make your own reality, and like I've even got comments. I bet Raina and I bet Trace, you have too. You've gotten the comments like, "Hey, I hope one day I can be just as good at you at this or that," and you don't like hearing that for a certain point of view, even though it's a compliment. It's because you don't believe it. Because if you start believing that and seeing that, that's where your ego starts developing, and I think that starts ruining you as a person, as a try to be a neutral entertainer or someone who's able to be approached.
Mhm.
And as much as compliments are great, I just wish we were able to say them in such a way where it wouldn't make people start to make others pick sides. And you know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like
yeah,
as soon as you hear like that you're cool or you did something great, it's like you try to then make another click, and it doesn't work. You're just rooting for anyone else who might have a chance to get a compliment. And I think there's a lack of compliments that aren't attached to building ego, because you don't need ego to be successful. You need to be
No,
yourself. You need to have fun. Fun is a key word in my life.
sure. I would say that it's a good lesson for ego, though. It's a good lesson for people to learn, because compliments are fine. It's cool when somebody tells you that you look good, or they tell you that
Yeah.
that last thing you did, that last video you made, that was awesome. I love the work you did. It's important for you as a person to, when you hear that, to accept it. That's cool. It's a compliment in your direction, but don't think much else of it. Don't overthink it. They
Yeah.
like what you did. Cool.
You
I
did,
appreciate
past
you for that.
tense.
Thank you for saying that. You know
Yeah, you take it for what it is.
exactly.
If
And
the
the same
person
thing with
decided to
criticism.
gift that to you, it's like, yeah, just accept it that, that the gift that it is, and you keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
Unfortunately, because you really can't control how someone else is going to take that
Yep.
Yeah.
for what you do. If someone decides that they want to choose a side based on something you say or something you do, the responsibility is purely on them. It's unfortunate, but that's human behavior. Some
True.
Yeah.
people are going to make decisions based on what you look like, based on who you talk to, based on the circle of who you run with. And that's and
But
that's
we're
you
all
know and that's
sitting
just going to
down. None
happen.
of us are running anywhere. We're all sitting down on the goddamn camera. We're all in the same group,
Hey,
stationary, trying not to get fat. People, we're not running. I don't even run. I have
no,
a
I
hard
know.
time rolling to the fridge.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but like I get it.
Yeah.
I love having this type of conversation because I don't get to talk about it much, right?
Mhm.
And I agree with both sides. It's like, how do you approach a person without making them get swayed and not be like coerced into believing that because a compliment was there, or because someone gave you a title,
Mhm.
that you are now better than someone. And I hate that mentality, because
Honesty. Honesty. That's the
yeah, but
key.
people can't
For
take
on your
honesty.
side of it, because like Lorena said, you can't really you can't control somebody's reaction to your words.
Yeah,
That's why I think it's extremely important that whenever you say something to somebody, if you
explain it.
genuinely thought it was good, if you genuinely liked something, that's when you say it. Don't say it just because that's what they want to hear you
Yeah.
say. Say it because that's how you felt about it.
Mhm.
It will definitely help them weed out all those people that are just sycophants and they just want to ride on your coattails and tell you
Mhm.
everything is great. Yeah, they can tell that that's BS. They can tell because when you say it, it's earnest. They can feel it. They can look you right in the eye and know that you meant it. And that also includes criticism. It's like,
Easy to blow them
you
up
might want to
quickly.
do that a little differently. They know that even if you're a bit harsh, it's coming from a good place. You're not
Can
just
you
trying to be cruel.
Yeah, you're not just,
can you blow up Trace
trolling.
quickly? Can you
Yeah.
blow up Trace quickly? I want to look him
Yeah.
in the eye.
Yeah, sure. Fine.
You sure do got a pretty mouth there, boy. He got red. Look how red he got. See, but that's great. But
I
I
do
love
that as a
this.
matter of course, just waking up every day. It's yeah.
When someone wakes up and tells you got a pretty mouth every morning,
I
that's
miss
creepy,
that.
bro.
I mean, no, no.
I had to fry that bacon last week. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
well,
it's just.
go ahead, Stephen.
I'm sorry. I just like. I'm sorry. I'm talking your ear off because we're going a little overboard. But do you think that if you become honest and when you actually are honest with people, do you think even then they will believe it? That they won't believe it. They'll think it's like BS, or they'll start seeing you as a threat. Do you think that's also becoming? It's like a contradiction to trying to being honesty. Is that people see it as a threat because they see the genuine in your words and they don't
It's a
know?
possibility. It
It's like
really
a
comes.
double-edged sword.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing of it is that really comes down to how they've been treated in the past. I mean, look at all the girls that get told that they're pretty, and then they get told that so much. It's hard to get them to truly, utterly believe it because everybody says it. I mean, I had an ex-girlfriend that
You're a
was the
pretty
same
girl.
way. Like she finally started listening to me when I said it because she was really pretty, but everybody says that. So I had to be more creative in how I said it and do
Mhm.
things that show that when I say it, I mean it. I'm not saying that just because everybody says that, of course. No. These are the things, and it helps by saying these are the things I like about you, and they don't really have to do with her looks because it didn't. It was how she
No.
carried herself. It was how she
Mhm.
spoke, things like that. And she's like, nobody's ever told me that before. It's like, well, Yeah, because they were just like, damn, you fine. And you are. But that's all they know because they don't know you. I know you, at least that far,
Mhm.
you
No, it's
know?
just,
And
I agree with that because it's like with I'm gonna bring up Lady Toriel's episode like yesterday because I think it throws her off too because a lot of people say, hey, you have great content, I liked your video, but when you actually tell her like I don't just like your video, I like your voice, I like the way you're able to pull in a crowd because you sound like you're inviting people into your home. You're
she does.
Mhm.
She really
she
does.
she has the I'm not trying to call her grandma. I don't think she's old, but she has that like grandma s thing where you're expecting to have like a piece of pie waiting on the table when you come over to visit relatives. She has
She's
that kind of feel.
very grounded. Put
Yes,
it that way.
and the
She's
same
very grounded.
and the same thing to say with Kai. Like when I like giving Kai a compliment because everyone's saying, "Oh, you have a great book. Oh, I just finished reading. You should pick it up." It's not about that. We might be the readers, but the fact that this was put on paper, Kai is owed a thank you just as much because he brought us into a world he created in his mind and in his heart. And I don't think anyone ever says that to him. So I felt kind of great having to be able to say that for the first time. I don't think and it makes me feel good because you're pulling up the genuality of what they're trying to share, even if they don't see it. And that's what it lacks. I don't like saying, "Oh, I subbed to you, everything's all good now." It's not about that. It's a number. You have to
Yeah.
tell them the reasons why you respect or like them. It's not forceful, but you
Mhm.
got to make the person feel like as an individual as much as a content creator because it goes
Sure.
hand in hand.
Absolutely.
I am so
Absolutely.
sorry. really sound like a Richard Simmons
So,
novel. About to work out.
while we
But
start
with a
to
lot
wrap
less
up,
sass.
yes.
You don't know that,
You
girl.
work and work.
Now raise your hands. Now put them down. Now left and right and shit on the ground. Let's go.
Oh, so
Sorry,
while we
I'm sorry.
wrap up here, Trace, is there anything else you'd like for our viewers to know about you?
Um, yes. Also, basically, I plan on trying to do some things with my channel. Actually, make some videos starting in 2021 at some point. I'm still waiting to find out how my work schedule is going to position itself
Yeah.
so that I can see if I'm going to have time to even put things out. And I doubt I'll be able to do a schedule like you folks can, but I'll try. I'll try to do something.
Hey, if you need help, bro, like I've offered other channels, you can hit me up if you need someone to just like get a basis off, depending on what you want to do, man. I'm always here available for people to talk to if you need someone to be like a co.
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate
And
it. I'll
I'll
probably
tell
be
you, you have
leaning
a
on a few
pretty
people.
mouth. I'll tell you, you have a pretty mouth every morning.
Oh, stop it.
Squeeze out the kid corner, baby.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Trace, for joining us. This is awesome because this show is about
Fun.
putting faces to names in the fandom and find out some things about folks that that you didn't know before. So thank you so much for being able to join and record with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to get in. This is the cool kids table.
Oh, no, it's not, man. No, don't even do that stuff. No. Thank you for not muting me, though.
If people say it's the cool kids table, I just let it stay
See,
out.
it's those. It's exactly it. See, I said it's the cool kids table. She didn't say it. I did. See,
Yeah,
genuine.
I say no.
That's real.
I say no.
And you're free to disagree. See, look at this. Look at all these lessons we're learning.
God,
You're
we're
free to
breaking
disagree
Twitter.
and everything.
We're breaking Twitter right now.
Oh
That's
man,
such a
I don't know what they're
shame.
gonna do now.
Are you appropriating my opinion? Oh my God, are you black enough to appropriate my opinion right now?
Listen,
Oh my
you
God.
appropriated my sarcasm first.
I was born with sarcasm in my marrow.
Well, folks, with that, thank you so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to Trace's channel out there on Twitter. The link, follow him on Twitter, subscribe to his channel on YouTube, and I will have both links in the description box to this video. So again, thanks to Trace for joining us. And folks, we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
Peace out.
Have a lovely day.